Hello and welcome into the Knicks Syndicate pregame show on Into the Knicks-Verse. And with special guest, you're always special to me, Quis.
Appreciate that, George.
TV.
Thank
How
you.
you doing? How you
I'm
doing?
good.
Brother?
How's everything with you, bro? Enjoying your day so far?
Yeah, man. It's been busy. I've been working a little. Been working on something new, which we're going to debut on this show, on this stream. It's a good friend of mine wrote a song, and like an anthem for Into the Knicks-Verse, as you've heard it. Hardly anyone has seen it yet, and I edited together a music video for it. So we're going to debut it. We're going to have my good friend Joe, who his rapper name is Ice the writer. He'll be on in about 20 minutes or so, half hour. We'll intro it, and then we'll play the music video for you guys, and then we'll talk. We'll talk Knicks because he's a huge Knicks fan. And interestingly, I didn't know this, but he was originally a Nets fan long time ago.
George, you got to stop telling people that, man. You can't introduce them that way.
Hey, but it's appropriate for today. It's appropriate for today. We're playing the Nets. It's true. I know. When he told me, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And the wild thing is, and I think I've mentioned this before, he was actually the original person who inspired me to do the channel. He wanted to do a podcast together years ago, and back in the mellow days and stuff, and we couldn't quite get it together to make it happen. And then a year ago, I was like, hey, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a channel. He's like, go for it, man, go for it. So it's going to happen. So Quis, we've had a couple extra days in between some games here.
Yep.
It was quite a weekend. The Knicks,
a lot going on.
Knicks drop a game to the Cavs, then beat the Magic. And then last night, those two teams play each other, and the Magic beat the Cavs. Same teams, same exact teams. No one came back. No one was on the injured list. It was kind of crazy. Just shows how we should have won that Cavs game.
Yeah, if you use the MMA math, we definitely should have won that Cavs game. But, I guess most people will say it probably helped us more than it hurt us.
Yes. Yeah, it's such a weird time. We'll look at that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look at where we're at, and we'll guesstimate where the Knicks will probably end up and all that jazz. But first of all, I want to shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Awesome to have you guys here. I see D Nice. Salute, good brother. NASA from NYC. Sincere to Genius. We survey 100 people. Thank you so much for showing up, man. Want to shout anybody else out? Did I miss anybody?
You and Foxy love doing that to me. You guys shout out everybody in the chat, and then you ask me, do I want to shout anybody out? Yeah, we'll shout out the same people you shouted out. Sincere, my guy, holding it down. We surveyed 100 people. NASA from NYC. Thank you all. UBG. Thank you for pulling up as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
I know. It's true. I realized that too. I was like, oh, he's thinking. I totally took it away from him.
It's all good. It's all good.
So first thing we're going to talk about is, and the main topic, other than previewing the game, which we'll do in the latter half of the stream, we're going to talk about, it's not new. Well, depends on how you look at it. Depends what your viewpoint of it is. But yesterday, Woj was on NBA Countdown, and I believe we also said it on NBA Today. Not 100% about that, but he came out and he said that basically us fans, we're stuck with Thibs at least through next season. At least through next season.
Yeah. Well, you let him tell it. We got him for another 3 seasons.
I know. Talk about trying to like really shock our system. Yeah.
Knowing Dolan has the money to can him whenever he feels like it, but maybe the Knicks went ahead of they kind of put the cart before the horse, and metaphorically speaking, when they decided to pick up the 5th year on Thibs.
Yeah, I remember we heard about that already in the summer, and it's interesting the way Woj presented it as if it was new news,
brand new.
But, yeah, it wasn't new news. We knew that. We knew that that was his reward for getting Coach of the Year.
We knew, but I forgot. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to remember every contractual detail about Thibs's contract. So with him phrasing it like that, and the turmoil that's surrounding Thibs and his tenure here as coach, he got the clicks he wanted. That's for sure.
He certainly did. And anytime someone like Woj or Windy or any one of those guys.
Well, Windy not so much, more so Woj and Shams.
Yeah. But I mean, like when
unless it's LeBron related, then Windhurst is your guy.
Oh yeah, Windy's LeBron man. But like when they mention the Knicks, or if the Knicks come out of their mouth, it's gonna be news in Knicks Nation. Absolutely. All right. I just got a text from my buddy Joe. So he's setting up. Hopefully he'll be able to make it on. We didn't actually test that part out, but hopefully he'll be able to do it. All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. Let's see. Hit those thumbs up buttons if you haven't hit it up yet. And also subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't subscribed yet, and along with Sports Vibes TV. Definitely. We only have 3 games left. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. But this might be even crazier. You see what we surveyed 100 people who wrote? He said Mitch is out.
Mitch is out tonight? That must be brand new. I heard Grimes. I heard Grimes was out.
Grimes was out. You know, Deuce was game time, they say. Well,
yeah, Deuce was game time.
We surveyed the same McBride is in tonight, but what happened? What's going on with Mitch?
Wait. Oh, McBride is in. Okay.
Yeah, Deuce is in.
Wow. I didn't get that alert.
We surveyed 100 people reporting from the streets.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Really appreciate you always do that.
Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson, non-COVID illness, is out for tonight's game.
Well,
heavy dose in the Taj.
Wow. Who is going to play the backup power forward?
Taj.
and center.
Backup center and backup power forward if Thibs allows it.
Wow.
You know that's Thibs' guy. And we don't know how much longer Taj will be here in the league. So if Thibs can run him out there to get his little, last minutes on the court before he decides to hang it up, I wouldn't be shocked if we see an extended Taj minutes today.
Yeah. We're going to have to. I mean, no Mitch, there's no Nerlens, no Julius. So we're down to 2 bigs. Well, 3 with Obi. We're down to 3 bigs. But Obi, hey, maybe Obi will play some center.
Maybe.
Be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. It's a non-COVID illness. Interesting. Huh.
So hopefully it's not an extended absence.
Wow, they really waited till the last possible second
minute
to tell us.
Yeah. 24 minutes ago from Knicks PR.
Huh. Well, before we jump in
right now.
Yeah. Before we jump in and talk about Thibs, is there any additional thoughts you've had about the 2 games that we just experienced over the weekend?
I'm liking what I'm seeing from the young core. When we're seeing Quick, we're seeing RJ, and we're seeing Obi out there on the court together, this, that unit really thrives. And one thing I think the catalyst of that is Quick. You look at Quick, you look at him being a 6'3" guard, a 6'10" wingspan, and his ability to not only grab the rebound but also push it up the court, I think has really unlocked a lot of what we can do in transition. There was times we were trying to do that with Julius Randle, and in spurts it would work, but I think when we have Quick doing it, you see it work in larger periods of time out there on the court. So if Quick can continue to rebound, he's rebounding like a wing out there. He had his first career triple-double. I think that was phenomenal to see with 20, 10, and 10. And a lot of those rebounds directly led into assists for him. So if he can continue to expand that portion of his game where he's able to, secure rebounds, fight with bigger players, and then push it up the court and lock his teammates out there, I think that's going to bode well for guys like RJ and guys like Obi. So, those 3 will be on the court together tonight, and hopefully they'll be able to show something against, a pretty difficult matchup in both Kyrie and KD.
Whew, it's going to be it's the first time they're playing together at the Garden, Kyrie and KD. It's going to be a brutal matchup, but this is exactly the scenario that we want. And I'm saying you and I, guys that want awesome. Okay, I see Joseph in the backstage. Awesome. Good. So he made it. So he'll be joining us in a little while. All right. Yes. Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
So good. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, got a lot going on.
One thing about feels, George.
You brought up the rebounding with IQ.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner the ball gets into his hands, the better for the Knicks. When he gets those rebounds, like you said, sparks the offense. You see either RJ and OB that get out on the break, and he hit. I mean, he some incredible, almost full court passes that he made to.
You saw the 3-quarter one to Obi.
Yeah. Not only that,
like Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill out there,
dude. Obi wasn't necessarily even quote open at that moment, but IQ's pass, he put it into the center of the left side of the court, where all Obi had to do is kind of like drift out a little bit, grab it, and then cut right to the hoop, blow past the whoever it was defending him. It was what a perfect pass. A lot of guys would have tried to throw it over the defender's head, but the defender could easily put his hands up by avoiding it and throwing it to the side. It was beautiful. It was a total Mahomes type.
Mahomes to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Also, you saw the defender. He started peeking in the backfield, so quick lit him up. He got the ball to Obi for an easy finish, and that's what you like to see. You like to see Obi use his athleticism, and if Quick can continue to push the pace and allow us to attack teams before they get into position defensively, you're going to see this team find easy buckets, and that's also going to translate, I think, into our half-court game where we're starting to get into a rhythm, and the guys out there are getting into a groove and knocking down shots. So I think if we can continue to play like that, you'll continue to see, Quick, Obi, and RJ take steps in their games in this last few that we have on the schedule.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get to the main topic here today. The main topic of discussion. Oh, I don't know why I did that.
Oh, what's going on there?
Here we go. Are Knicks stuck with Thibs? Better said is, are we stuck with Thibs? So this came out yesterday. I brought it up in the opening of the live stream. Woj was on NBA Countdown, and here, I'll just read you. This is the article from Bleacher Report about that, which says Woj, Tom Thibodeau safe as Knicks head coach, won't be fired after season ends, from Scott Pulisic of Bleacher Report. And it goes on to say, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski said Thibodeau is safe in his role for the 2022-23 campaign during Tuesday's episode of NBA Countdown. People have speculated about the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, who was just coach of the year last year. I'm told he is safe in New York. He's got support of ownership, Leon Rose, the GM, and largely the locker room, the important players in the locker room. And one more thing. I'm told he signed an original 5-year deal to be coach of the Knicks. The 5th year was a team option, wasn't guaranteed. I'm told the Knicks picked up that 5th year over the summer after he won coach of the year. All right, well, I have a few things to say about this, and I'm dying to hear your completely unadulterated feelings about this.
Well, I mean, it's more of the same, because weren't there already reports that Thibs was going to be back? So this is just even more confirmation coming from a bigger name in Woj. It's just, now that we know Thibs is going to be stuck here, it's going to be on the front office to give him the type of players that he's going to play and try and win with, or handcuff him and force him to play the kids by taking away some of his favorite toys, like, an Alec Burks moving on from him. That would even mean Derrick Rose moving on from him as well, because we know, he's been reported that he's done for the season. If Rose was here, we already know Rose is going to be eating into a lot of the minutes of these younger guys. So if Thibs is going to be here, number one, front office has to give him a roster that he can go out there and have some success with. Preferably that would be with a young team, but we know Thibs. What's the likelihood of Thibs going out there with a young team? So that might mean the front office might do some drastic things, like move on from a guy like Cam, which to me I think would be a terrible decision. Also, when they're trying to get a roster that's going to fit Thibs, we got to move on from Julius Randle, because I think we can't come back next season and have both Thibs and both Julius Randle, because at that point, it's the same old. There's going to be no changes. It's going to be, the same, I think, appeasement of Julius Randle and his actions out there on the court, and Thibs continuing to enable that behavior. So if Thibs is being reported that we're stuck with him, to me that means we definitely have to move on from Julius Randle at this point, because we can't have him come back and also have Thibs be the same coach of this team and expect different results next season. So those were some of the things that I thought once I heard that Thibs was going to be coming back. Me, it's not the option or the route that I would have gone. I would have moved on from Thibs and brought in somebody that I think could get more out of some of these young guys on the roster. But if we're going to be stuck with Thibs, then there's going to have to be some major changes to the roster for it to work.
Absolutely. You know, the thing you said that scares me the most is, you know, having both Julius and Thibs on this team next season. And I will say, well, okay, here's my feeling about this. I don't think any of this is new news. None of it is new news. It's a lot of like, whatever. It was total, it felt like clickbait. It felt like, hey, let's talk about the Knicks because we know it'll get a lot of attention in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us something.
Viewership.
Yeah. So we already knew Thibs was going to be back, going to coach next season, number one. Number two, we already knew that his team option had been picked up, like we talked about earlier in the show. It was his reward for winning coach of the year. So there's nothing new here. The only thing new is that the Jake Fisher report has now been confirmed by the man, Woj. So we know for sure, 100%, the intention at this moment is for Thibs to be the coach next season. It's distressing for me personally. I mean, I know for you as well. After having watched every single minute of every single game, watched practically every single post-game interview, read everything there really is no excuse for missing the playoffs with this team, and much less missing the play-in. That is always ultimately on the coach. On the coach. Yes, did the front office fail him in certain ways? Absolutely. Did some of the key players fail him in some ways? Yes. But that's why they pay you. That's why you're the coach. You're the one who has to figure out how to navigate through it all. Or else, I mean, what's the point? On a ship, everyone has their roles. Everyone knows what to do. But it's when shit goes bad that you need the captain to figure out how to get you from point A to point B without killing anybody or sinking the ship. And you didn't do it, Thibs. Thibs didn't do it. So he does not deserve next season based upon what he did this season. However, okay, I get it. I mean, what are you going to replace him with at the moment? We're unsure. I have a feeling. Let me ask you this question. Why do you think that they want to bring Thibs back when we know Dolan? First of all, here it says support of ownership. Well, we were already told that Dolan gave Leon the okay to fire him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not support to me. yeah, you can fire him. But it's like that's not support. So why do you think they're doing this?
Only thing I could, the only argument would be continuity. And, players like RJ may actually be fond of him and his coaching style. That's the only reason I could see us sticking with Thibs. Also, and maybe they don't want to give the bad appearances of firing a coach after he's won coach of the year, even though there's precedent for it. So to me, the only reason I would see this front office or this franchise deciding to stick with Thibs is just the fact of, or just the point of continuity, making sure you have the same voice in the locker room for more than just 2 seasons. Try to have a coach there for at least 3 seasons so he can, set his culture in the way he sees fit. And it's hard to do that in a situation where we've had a COVID season. Now it's the first year back and he's dealing with a superstar who might be having some issues dealing with the fan base. So there is a lot going on. Also, you mentioned the front office not necessarily giving him the best roster to start. So, for those few reasons, I can see why they might say it's a good idea, but we're seeing the young kids blossom right now. And imagine where we could have been if we were, playing these guys earlier on in the season. And, you made a great analogy with Thibs supposed to be supposed to be the captain, and he didn't put his crew in the best situation to succeed throughout this entire season. Even now, when we're no longer in position to get into the playoffs or the play-in, he's still trotting Alec Burks out there as the starter, and he's got Quick coming off the bench when, Quick could be the starting point guard of this team for the foreseeable future, but we won't know because Thibs won't put him in a position to show his talents. And I think things like that are why, yes, you want to keep, a coach for continuity, but do you want to continue moving along in this direction? I don't think this is a direction towards success. So yes, you can use the continuity argument, but to me, kind of falls on deaf ears.
Yeah. Well, so you're not, so mostly what I hear from you is you don't think it's mostly basketball decisions for why they're keeping him.
Honestly, I have no reason why. I have no understanding why they're keeping him. I want them to move on. But honestly, maybe the relationship, you can also get into the CAA ties, but I try to focus on the basketball aspect of it. I'm not behind the scenes, so I really don't know what the relationships are between Thibs and Leon Rose. Everyone says they've got a pretty strong relationship, but they're also been saying that World Wide West has been in there dropping seeds saying that we should move on from Thibs. So honestly, I don't know what the relationships are like in the front office right now. They brought in a new person right around the trade deadline. There's a lot going on there, so I'm just trying to view it from a pure basketball standpoint as to why they would try to bring this coach back.
Yeah, I think it might be like, well, for one thing, Jason M put this in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the moves they make in the offseason? I'm at an 8. I'm worried for sure. It's an incredibly key offseason, but we will get to that. We'll actually talk about that in the next part. I just wanted to put that up because it was a really good comment. There's this whole adage of you can't, when a new regime comes in and they hire a coach, they kind of live and die together. So if Leon had fired Thibs, it would look like he made his first choice. Major decision was a mistake, which was hiring Thibs. So maybe they're not ready to admit that, and they can still fall on the laurels of last season and say, well, you know what? If we kind of go at this again, this time with now 2 years of information, now we'll have a better idea of how to build this squad for next season, and get back to being that playoff team that we were in the first season. That could be the logic. My opinion is Thibs is not going to change. So if you're going to build a squad for Thibs, I mean, it's going to be 5 Alec Burkses.
It's going to be something terrible, man. And if they're building a team around Thibs, they're probably moving on from Cam, because you see, Grimes, he's hurt, but it seems like Grimes has done enough this season to warrant some rotation minutes next year. And you start to look at other spots on the bench. Where is there really a spot in the rotation for a Cam? So that's why I'm extremely nervous. It was a good thing that you put up that comment by Justin M saying that, how nervous are you? I'm extremely nervous because I think Cam Reddish could be one of those pieces that they try to move in order to bring in someone to appease Thibs and his quote unquote system. And it would be even worse if they double that up and keep Julius Randle as well. Things can go left real quick this offseason, and they already haven't shown the ability to make great moves in free agency and things like that. So I'm concerned, honestly.
Yeah, I'm very concerned. I just saw a tweet. Jericho Sims will be starting at center tonight.
Okay, and Taj off the bench.
Yeah,
like you said, who's going to be the backup for?
It'll be Taj. No, the backup, for all we know, it'll be RJ. He'll slide over.
Yeah, right. Maybe they go small.
Yeah. You know what? This is going to be a fascinating offseason. I don't know. I mean, with this scenario that we're in, I mean, maybe they do have the opportunity. Maybe they already know that they can move Julius, and then they figure, okay, we move Julius, we remove some of the toys and the dysfunction that happened this season. You know, maybe they also find a home for Burks as well. A home.
Yeah, they got to find a home for Kimba and Nerlens as well. There's a few people they got to find homes for.
Hey, look, they got to, you know, they do some assisted living. So let's hope, but we'll dive into it. We'll do very deep dives into all of this, possibly next week after the season ends and stuff. But
George, we got the starting lineups, man.
Oh,
sorry to cut you off. I apologize.
No problem. Let's get to it here. Knicks starting lineup. I like Burks, Evan Fournier.
Not even a triple double.
Hey, look at that.
Get you some starting minutes.
Three youngins and 2 not so. Hey,
youngins.
Holy mackerel. Yeah, maybe Taj will play the small forward too. You can do everything.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thibs did say he could play some 3 for us.
Yes, he did. You know, it's almost admirable if it weren't completely, utterly infuriating how much love and time he puts into Taj's development.
He hasn't hit his ceiling yet, man. Another year or 2, we might get there.
All right, well, we're almost there. We're just a few minutes away from having Ice Joe, my good friend Joe, joining us, and then we're going to premiere the video for you guys. It came out pretty good. I'll say so myself. So, and the song is killer. So we're going to do that pretty soon. You want to shout anybody out in the chat?
Yeah. Antoine Nicholas says Farron Hunt is the backup power forward.
Really?
I highly doubt it, but it was a good joke if it was one. Let's see. Silver Surfer says we got Obi. What are you going to do against KD? There's not much Obi can do against KD, honestly. You just hope Obi doesn't get himself into foul trouble and he can, or try and get KD into foul trouble on the other end as well. That might be a way to save him. Let's see. UBG says it's going to be a wreck. Oh man, Silver Surfer says front office is trash. They've been okay in certain departments. Their drafting, I can't really be too upset with them. I think they've made some solid selections. You know, some people still complain about, you know, Obi over Halliburton, but we've seen Obi step up, you know, as a starter. I think I have his stats pulled up over the last 7 games of him starting. He's been averaging 15.3 points per game, 7.3 rebounds per game, and shooting 55% from the field and 35.7% from the 3-point line. Nice. So he's starting to come along as he's been given an opportunity. And even in his post, in one of his interviews, he's saying that the biggest thing to his development is getting playing time and getting minutes. So hopefully to close this season, we can continue to see him average, you know, over 32, 33 minutes per game, which is what he's been averaging in his start so far, and can continue to develop. And that way we won't have these conversations as to, you know, whether we should have picked up Hallie or whether we should have, you know, stuck with Obi.
Yeah. I mean, it was just that debate of Halliburton over Obi. That's just a matter of need. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the fact that we already have Julius, I think that's really, I mean, do I think that Obi can live up to the 8th pick? Yes, absolutely. I do believe that. Will Halliburton turn into a special point guard? I don't know. I'm not sure. He's definitely done some great stuff in the past 2 seasons. So we'll see. And he was already traded, you know, he already showed that he had value enough for a big trade to happen.
And also, the story's still out too when it comes to Obi over Halliburton, because if we're able to move on from Julius Randle and get something in return that could you know, factor into the point guard equation, or even just be a solid role player or a solid starter on the team, you would look at it and say, okay, would I have preferred to draft Halliburton and still have Julius Randle on the team, or draft Obi and then move on for Julius Randle and get some assets that help build a more complete team? I would pick, you know, selection 2.
Yeah, me too. All right, well, we're gonna have my good friend Ice gonna join us now. Let's see here. What's up, brother?
What's up? How you feeling?
All right, Ice. Joe is his name, but his musical artist name is Ice the Writer. Ice, meet Quis from Sports Vibes TV, man.
Yo, Quis, what's up, man? Nice to meet you, my brother.
All right,
I was feeling those stats too. I I was just a brief mention thinking about Obi myself and how he's been coming along, and you kind of took the words right out of my mouth in the last 2 minutes. So that was
my
dope,
bad,
dope
bro. You should have said something in
no,
the private
no,
chat.
no, no.
I'd have let you
No,
rock.
it's all good. Dope analysis, because I was gonna go there too. But yeah, but I'm Joe Dargan, aka Ice the Writer. I'm a sports journalist and also a rapper and performer. And it was my pleasure. It's actually my pleasure now to be on Into the Knicks-Verse. Well, thanks for having me, George. And it was my pleasure to work on the song and put it together. Yeah, it was a joy. Like, I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in Harlem, so it's always pure joy when I get to do anything New York oriented that has some meaning, especially with the Knicks, man, having some kind of relevancy going on right now. We got some promise right now. We've had some dark days.
Yes, we have, man. Yes, we have. Hey, man. Hey, where are you? You look like you're like in Costa Rica or something.
So I'm in the crib. I'm in the crib, but I got a little
nice setup.
I got a little setup going on, a little corner going on. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm always prepared for these moments. I appeared on a couple of other YouTube shows talking sports, so I kind of have a little pop-up setup I could throw together when the time is right.
Looks great, man. Looks great.
George, that's him saying, what took you so long to invite him?
We've been talking about this.
Yo, we got so much history with this. We would sit and talk. I mean, probably for like 2 years, we sat and we would talk every time we hung out and talk about the Knicks. And we would always say, hey, let's do a podcast. And I was always busy because I was going to college. I was working on trying to start my journalism career at the time. And I told him, I said, man, like, take it and run with it. And we always bounced the ideas back and forth. We actually sat down and recorded one podcast that we never actually put out, but he moved forward with it. And I'm impressed, man. I'm so proud of my guy because he put his willpower together. He put his money where his mouth is, as they say. It wasn't just talk after a while. He got up and did it, So, and when he first told me to put the YouTube channel together, I was like, oh, okay, my man doing him. And some time went by. And when I actually took the time to check it out and like check out the videos, like I was highly impressed. I was like, oh man, this is legit. Like this is going somewhere. So I'm happy for my guy, man. I'm just happy that it's working out. And yeah, I've been able to make some progress in my career. I've been able to make some music, and kind of do what it was all about in the beginning for me, and that was just to be creative. I was always a writer growing up. Like I always rapped, and I read this book about a young black man growing up in America. Can't remember the author at the moment, but it'll come to me. But the bottom line was the book was about a guy that had a troubled past. He ended up going to prison and stuff. Was a gang member, but he got a degree in journalism while he was in prison and came home and ended up, years later becoming the editor-in-chief at the Washington Post. So as a troubled youth myself, I remember reading this book and it changed my life because it kind of said to me, like, no matter where you start, that's not where you have to finish. It was kind of like, as long as you put your mind to it, like you can make anything happen. And even though his story took place in the 70s, we have so many more opportunities now than we did then. So, for me, a lot of times when I hear people talking about they can't do this or they can't do that, it just amounts to a lot of excuses to me, because I know people like myself, like my guy George, and probably even you, Quis, sat down with ideas and felt like what's stopping me from making it happen. I'm stopping me, and you got up and put it together. A lot of people just kind of talk about what they're going to do. So we three guys here that's putting it into action. So I'm proud to be a part of the program.
Hey man, I'm happy to have you on the show finally. And the song, and I'm just blown away by the song that you wrote and produced, and you sing. You're the main featured artist on it. Fantastic. I cut together like a little music video for it, and we're gonna debut it.
I'm excited.
Now. Yeah, let's go. We're gonna debut it. Here we go.
It's Ice. Yeah. Welcome to the Knicks-Verse. This is New York, you wanted smoke, so now we gotta take it there. Give me the rock, school of hard knocks, and we ain't playing fair. They hate the cheer, you ain't balling out, then you gon' hate it here. Let's make it clear, you can make it here, you make it anyway. It's New York, you wanted smoke, so now we gotta take it there. If you can make it here, you make it anywhere. Give me the rock, school of hard knocks, and we ain't playing fair. If you can make it here, you make it anywhere. It's been a couple years, we ain't have a hit. Fans got in their bag cause we didn't have a chip. Now you can hear around the gym, all we care about is win. Randall hitting fadeaways, Obi tearing down the rim. Ain't gotta care about a thing when you got Thibs coaching you. Play D, don't be acting crazy, do what you supposed to do. Quickly got that ball on the string, he one of the chosen few. And RJ, when that game on the line, bro, we gon' go to you. Shout out to Spike Lee and them true fans. Chuck D, I see you in that orange and blue fam. Other players acting like they greater with two hands, but those haters couldn't bust a grape at a fruit stand. This is New York, you wanted smoke, so now we gotta take it there. Give me the rock, school of hard knocks, and we ain't playing fair. Hate the cheer, you ain't balling out, then you gon' hate it here. Let's make it clear, you can make it here, you make it anywhere. It's New York. You wanted smoke, so now we gotta take it there. If you can make it here, you make it anywhere. Give me the rock, school of hard knocks, and we ain't playing fair. If you can make it here, you make it anywhere.
Hey.
Whoa, there we
That was
go.
dope. That was dope.
There we go. Wait a second. Now the commercial came on. Man, so you guys should check out the video. The link, I'll put it in the description. You can find it in the channel. I mean, on my end, it looked like it was a lot of stop and go. It wasn't smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably because of my Wi-Fi and all that stuff. But you guys should definitely check it out. It came out awesome. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm excited. Sure, this was just an idea also, a couple weeks ago. So we got to work. We got put our heads together, and I mean, we got it done. I'm excited. I'm trying to get Spike Lee to listen to this joint. We need to get Chuck D. We need to
play
it at the Garden.
Yeah, we need to get it played at the Garden. So
that'd be awesome. Hey, you never know. Awesome. You never know how things are going. So anthems have a way of kind of taking a life on their own. So we'll see what happens.
It was just on us to throw it in. Quick thing. The book was called "Makes Me Wanna Holler: A Young Black Man Growing Up in America" by Nathan McCall. So that was the name of the book. But yeah, interesting read for anybody trying to get focused.
I think that would be a great subject for a movie or something, or a TV
show.
Yeah, that life story. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, we talk all the time, so we done seen the ups and downs, but we let the past flow under the bridge, and we keep it grinding, keep it moving forward.
Awesome, man. Well, let's talk some Knicks, man.
Exactly. Let's
talk some Knicks.
Point out this comment by We Surveyed 100 People. He's quoting one of his bars.
Wait, say it again.
Quoting one of your bars. We surveyed 100 people. 7:15.
You ain't You ain't balling out. You're gonna hate it here.
Hey. It threw me off when it said we surveyed 100 people. I'm like, what did they say? Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. That's what we hope for. But just engagement, man. Engagement. That's awesome right there. I feel like a proud dad.
You are, man. I'm like a proud uncle. I'm like a proud uncle.
There you go. That's how we do.
Hey, so I will say that, for one thing, I mentioned already that you originally, I just found this out too, because we've known each other for like 10 years.
Going on 10, I'll say like 8 years, about something like that. Yes,
I did not know that you were originally a Nets fan.
Yeah, so that I was gonna talk about that too. So tonight, I have it's like bittersweet for me when I watch the Knicks and the Nets play. So I grew up in a household with all Knicks fans, and during the whole Jordan era. So I loved Michael Jordan because he would come through and just wax the Knicks like every time. So, it would be family gatherings. Everyone would come over and be cheering the Knicks. And I'll be the one guy in the back. Every time Jordan scored, I'll be like, yes, whatever. So I would hate to watch the Knicks game because I felt like I was kind of like a loner. I grew up in like a house, like without my parents, like with relatives and stuff. So I was kind of like a black sheep a little bit. So when everybody would gather to watch the Knicks, I would sit alone and watch the Nets games. So that's kind of like how it started. How the love started is I wanted to see basketball, but I didn't want to watch the Knicks because I didn't want to go along with everybody else. So I would go in the back of the house and I would just watch the Nets games like in my grandparents' room alone by myself. And I would like live and die with the Nets. Kendi Anderson, Armin Gilliam, Derek Coleman, all these guys. Armin Gilliam. Armin Gilliam, right? Like Keith Van Horn, like all of these guys, man, from back in the day. Like I was living and dying with them. And but it's weird because
they had some good teams.
excellent teams. Went once we traded for Jason Kidd, we went to the chip, played the Lakers, we got swept. But it's like just that ride, and I had season
Kobe.
tickets. Yeah, Kobe. Exactly. Kobe was just murdering the Nets.
Kobe is Quis's guy.
Yeah. No, I love Kobe. I mean, I love basketball in general. But just I had season tickets in like 05, 06, and like 04, 05, like those 2 years when we had got Jason Kidd and Vince Carter. We had the whole little squad. I got season tickets a couple years in a row. Yeah. That was the height of my Nets fandom. And I think once the Russians got involved with the Nets, things got weird. Like, when Jay-Z came, got the Nets, and it was like, oh, we're going to move to Brooklyn. They did the whole thing, traded off all the assets and all of this different stuff. And it made it hard to watch, like, for a couple of years. And then once they moved to Brooklyn, I feel like it took on a different identity than the New Jersey Nets. And it's like, I still like them, but I feel like the team that I grew up loving, the New Jersey Nets that I grew up loving to watch, I almost feel like they went corporate on me a little bit. Like, that's kind of the feeling. But what it did also is it kind of made me rekindle a love for the Knicks a little bit, because I felt like the Nets was like the flashy for show, throwing money at everything, trying to make these big moves to make everything happen. But I feel like the Knicks have been the team that's been grinding, homegrown, drafting well, trying to make things happen. And I feel like it's only right, being a New Yorker, that I support the team. So it's like I kind of have like a twin love for them. But I would say the last 2 or 3 years, I've definitely been checking in on the Knicks a lot. And it's weird because even when it was like, oh, James Harden is coming and Kevin Durant was coming, it was like, it's like, because like I said,
excited.
It felt like it wasn't the team that I felt
not organic over there.
I felt like they sold like 10 years ago.
Tonight they're gonna battle.
Oh man, it's
on the garden floor.
Oh
man.
I'm excited. I'm excited just to watch. I mean, just the fact that the Knicks are competitive. Kyrie is like unbelievable. Now with him being back, being able to play fully, it's because of him that they fell into the play-in tournament with him missing all of those games. Yeah. But they still have a chance, and I honestly think that the Nets have a chance to win it all. And the reason why I say that is because you need great defense, great defensive players. I feel like the Nets have a great squad. I feel like Kevin Durant is underrated defensively with those long arms. But I also feel like
he needs to play,
when he needs to be. But I also feel like the Nets have killers when it comes time to who's going to get the ball at the end of the game time. When it comes to Kyrie, when it comes to KD, when it comes to the playoffs in general, I feel like you really need a couple of guys you can depend on down the stretch, like to really make those hard buckets when the game is on the line, when the anxiety level is high. You really need those guys like a Kobe, like a Jordan, somebody that's a killer. And I feel like a lot of teams, I mean, with the exception of like the Detroit Pistons of old, a lot of teams who are compromised of a lot of role players or a lot of, good but not necessarily great players, they can make it deep in the playoffs. And I feel like you see a lot of that I feel like Jokic took a step in the last couple of years, but you saw a lot of that with the Denver Nuggets at first when Jokic kind of was taking his rise. A lot of good teams. It
took him a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of teams like that, when they have good talent but not great talent, they can get pretty far in the playoffs until they run into the team that have those dudes, like that know how to put it away toward the end of the game. Because I feel like that's usually when the game is lost a lot of time in the playoffs in the last 3 minutes or so. Because, you got guys who are scared, who are nervous, who haven't been there.
Stops. When you can't get stops.
And you can't get stopped. So you need two. You need those great defensive players, and you need those great scorers to come through in the end. And I feel like it's not so much that the Nets have the greatest defensive players on. I feel like obviously with great scorers with KD and Kyrie, but I feel like I'm looking around the rest of the league saying, besides in Milwaukee, I feel like Giannis doesn't get the love he deserves either. But besides Milwaukee, I feel like Philadelphia hasn't even proven anything yet. It's like James Harden, who knows what he's going to do. He's regular season Harden. It's like if he's regular season Harden, great. But if he's playoff Harden, they may be in trouble. We'll see what Embiid. I feel like Doc Rivers taking over 76ers was great for Embiid, because I feel like Embiid needed to get that savage attitude. And I feel like Doc Rivers really helped him.
He definitely. It's interesting you point that out, because I hadn't even really thought too much about it, but it does seem like he made a little like a half level up.
Yeah. He matured. I feel like yes, absolutely. I feel like he definitely matured as a person and as a player. You don't see him joke around as much. I mean, times when he could settle for a jump shot, he attacks the basket. And I feel like he kind of, and he made the comment that, you know, he can play like Shaq, or he can play like Kobe, or he can play like, you know, Jordan if he needs to, or whatever. And I feel like he's one of those few players that have the skill set, but we still have to see it proven in the playoffs. I feel like that's the step. And I feel like, you know, much as people want to talk about Kevin jumping from team to team, I feel like Durant has proven himself in the playoffs. I feel like Durant has proven himself to be a great player, to be at his best when his best is needed, you know, and that's what the playoffs determines. I was still scared for people with the Lakers. I feel like the Lakers play horribly, but I feel like they had enough talent that if they could get their best when their best was needed, and with the players that have been there before, they may have had like a puncher's chance, as they say. But yeah, you know, I'm watching out for the Nets, man, in this run of the playoffs. I feel like they're gonna be the sneaky team, man, that knock a few teams off that's been riding high all year.
They may be. They actually, honestly, I would, if I were an opponent, I wouldn't want to face.
Yeah, absolutely
early,
not.
Especially in the first round. So.
Everybody's been ducking and dodging them over the last month.
yeah. Now with Kyrie back, man, full time. Kate, both of them in the lineup. Oh, it's scary. I honestly feel like with Harden leaving, it may have helped them a little bit, because I feel like too many dominant ball players aren't great, because I feel like, you know, everyone wants the ball when it matters the most. And I feel like then you get your hero ball, you get clashes of personalities when that comes. But I feel like, you know, before they were saying how KD and Kyrie sat at dinner kind of plotting this out before they made the move. I feel like those were the two players who initially planned to come to the team. Yeah. And I feel like they played the best together when they're playing their best. The jury is still out to me on Harden. Kind of reminds me a little bit, not necessarily now, but like Westbrook, in a sense that individually, statistically, excellent, you know, but winning games and bringing the best when the best is needed, I feel like the jury's still out on Harden. But yeah, but let's get back to these Knicks, man. I'm excited about the Knicks. But go ahead.
NASA from NYC writes, you heard ESPN going to show the game in different broadcast era modes? I did see a mention. I didn't really understand what that meant.
Maybe different cameras being used at different times, or different.
I don't know. Gonna show the game in black and white?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, like, for a few minutes.
It's gonna be an SD.
It's like, we don't even realize how far TV has come. It's like we watch some of them old videos, even from like 2004.
Oh yeah, when you watch the video edited, I used old footage from a promo video that the Knicks, the New York Knicks put out. Some great footage, but yeah, the old footage. It's all the 4:5 square format, almost square. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm not sure. I did
explain to me what tape delay was. I was like, what? And like the game is played, and then they play it on. They play the recording at a later time. I was like,
finals weren't played live.
Yeah, that was crazy.
When I found that out, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's because we know the game as it is now in its current state. So, you know, I grew up primarily in the 90s. Like I was born in the 80s, but you know, most of my recollections of being old enough to know what was going on was through the 90s. And by that time they had kind of went live, and you know, we had Jordan, we had all of that. And I feel like it kind of like erased the memories of the 80s. Because if you go back to, you know, the 88 championship, or, you know, with Magic, and then like that's, I think, was still on tape delay at that time, which just means, you know, they played the game and they recorded it and then picked the time slot later on to air it, I guess, when they felt like it would be more feasible to get people to watch it. But you know, now it's like people clamoring.
Too many spoilers to do something like that.
Yeah,
by the time somebody leaves the game, they're texting the score.
Oh, it's over. It's over.
Totally.
So social media is like the gift, and it's the gift and the curse.
The gift and the curse. That's for sure. That's the Knicks channel. Knicks-Verse. we're a gift and a curse.
But I honestly feel like the Knicks are this close to getting together. Like we was talking about with Obi stepping up. I feel like Obi was one of those guys remind me of Giannis in the sense that he came with a lot of willpower, with a lot of raw talent. You know, he was big and he was strong, but I feel like he needed to develop his skill set a little bit more. And I feel like this year, especially
he still has to, but he's come a long way.
10 games, especially the last 10 games, he's really showed the development of his skill set, especially in the game against not Cleveland, but Orlando. He had like 4 or 5 3-pointers in that game. Like he did pretty good. He's been feeling more confident taking that shot. But I feel like we may be one good veteran trade away, and it is weird because usually Knicks players stay away from that, but I feel like we have the talent. I just feel like like a Chris Paul or something like that, like that kind of guidance with the talent that we have now. I feel like the Knicks would be unbelievable, even though that's so super hype.
If Chris Paul were on this Knicks team,
I think
we would be probably easily a fifth or fourth seed.
Definitely. I'm pretty. I don't want to say 100%.
Unfortunately, there's only one Chris Paul. There's no one else in the NBA
that's like a Chris Paul
that even has anything like him anymore. I mean, Mike Conley at one point, but I think he's gotten too old. I can't even think of anybody else. I mean, Lowry, but he's older. I don't know who else. Quis.
That's a different era of point guards. The point guards we have now coming into the league, for the most part, they're like the combo variety. So to find a real floor general is going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, but a floor general that understands how to annihilate position.
Well, remember, a lot of these guys are one and dones. They're not being taught the game of basketball the same way as Chris Paul.
That's a great
point.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Guys are learning on the fly, pretty much.
We have a comment from Brendel Perez. He says, how many minutes do you anticipate Obi getting next season? Quis, throw it to you, brother.
If Randall's here, then probably the same, 18, 20. If Randall's not here, he better be getting at least 30 to 32, like he's getting now as a starter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with you, unfortunately. If Randall's here, he's going to have the same exact role he's had last year. Because of Thibs. We'll have a whole other show. We'll dissect it all in terms of what we actually think might happen, what should happen. We'll dive deep into it. We'll look at different players that Knicks, the franchise, should be looking at to add on, like to try and find that Chris Paul-ish type player. For all we know, IQ could be the starting point guard next season. We don't know. Brunson is out there.
You see the way Quick is breaking down the game. He could, develop the way he's able to analyze the game. There was one play on the give and go where he gave it up to Obi, then he cut to the basket. Obi gave it back to him, and he made the decision to find RJ out on the corner three. And I know some people watched the play and they might have said, "Oh, Quick, he was open. He probably should have put it up." But when he went to go take off, he took off on his right hand and on his right foot, and we know he's a righty. So for him to throw up that patent to the floater,
that was
very
difficult.
It would have been
shot.
difficult.
Yeah.
So he ended up kicking it out to RJ, who was able to knock down the corner three.
Yeah. I've been incredibly impressed with what IQ has shown us recently, but at the same time, not surprised. I mean, especially you and IQs. I mean, we're on. we've been on IQ Island for a long time. Now the cruise ships are showing up. We got the everyone's coming onto the island.
Now they're trying to make it an Airbnb destination.
Exactly. I mean, he's really been impressive. Well, now we're going to preview the game. We have a few minutes before the game actually starts. Knicks against Nets. Again, it's the first time that Kyrie and KD are playing on the Madison Square Garden floor together as Nets.
Nets trying to sweep the season series in this game today.
Yeah, that's right. They're winning 3. They're leading the series 3-0. As you can see, this is the last 10 games. The Nets, they have that incredibly high-powered offense, 117.5 points per game. Knicks are averaging 108.2. The rebounds, we leading in rebounds. The assists, we're up to 22, which is pretty high for us for a 10-game stretch. And I think it's interesting that that's also coincided with quickly getting more time as the lead guard, less Randall, more ball movement. So we're seeing the assist per game tick upwards, which is awesome.
Yeah. As a good segue, I was going to mention that too, because Knicks are ranked 30th in assists per game. So they needed to do a great job. Yeah, we're pretty much among the worst in assists per game. So that's actually a very good stat. And just showing that they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, man. Oh, we got shout out the Nick of Time.
Salute.
Thank you, brother. Salute to the panel. PGs with Chris Paul's IQ do not grow on trees. Stick with IQ. That is for sure. There are very few like that anymore at all.
It's a dying breed.
It is. And a lot of the reason is, I believe, that it's because there was a time where the primary function of the lead guard was to just be the floor general. They didn't have to be the most athletic guy. They didn't have to be the best shooter. They didn't even have to be the best passer necessarily, but they usually were. Passing was like the thing they did, but they didn't have to be burners, speed freaks. Kyrie came into the league and he started changing that. And the league just got more athletic. and it got younger. So it got fast. The game got faster. It got harder to guard guys. So then the slower type of point guard kind of went away because of
like
that.
the Mark Jacksons of the world and the John Stocktons.
Yeah, I feel like Mark Jackson would be too slow for today's game.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then once you throw Curry in there with that jump shot, it kind of start teaching these kids from the very beginning, you know, that if you're a small guard, you need to be jacking up long range threes all day. So yeah, pass first is kind of went out the window, but that's what makes Ben Simmons so intriguing as a player, because he's a pass first forward, and he has the IQ of a point guard. And if he chose to, he probably could dominate the game offensively as well. I feel like he catches a lot of flack. I honestly think he just didn't really want to play in Philly, but I think that that's going to be interesting once he joins the team officially. I feel like they're going to pretty much be unstoppable.
Well, here's the thing. I think before we address D-Nice's comment here, this is. I mean, there's always a chance, because with Kyrie and KD, you never know. There's always a chance, and they do have enough, horses in the stable there to, at least do some adequate defense if they need to, and maybe they kind of like can level that up a little bit. And then there's KD, can be a tremendous defender when he needs to be, but it's a lot of work to give you 45 on one end and to stop the other guy on the other end. It's a lot of work, so it's going to be interesting, but you never know. They could make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, or they could lose in the first round. It's up in the air. But next season, if they can get Ben Simmons on that court, I think they're going to be. I don't know. They're definitely one of the favorites to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Unfortunately, I say that as a Knicks fan. Unfortunately, but let's see here. So, as you guys can see, D-Nice has asked, what are the keys to winning this game tonight for the Knicks? Keys.
Well, what are we going to do with the absence of Mitchell Robinson? Because I think we don't have the perimeter defenders to really contain Kyrie and KD. And so that means we've seen how the Knicks look when Mitch isn't out there on the court for extended periods, and people pretty much get, free access to the rim. So how are we going to be able to defend those guys and also try and keep the defense sound? Like, how are we going to protect against the rim? It's going to be major for a guy like Jericho Sims, who's a young guy and who at times misses his defensive assignments. So, you want to see Jericho Sims in this moment step up.
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie, but, at this point, we want to see him in the moment and how he would be if he was asked to replace a Mitchell Robinson, because we remember Mitchell Robinson, there's no guarantee he's going to be able to return. So in a game like this, I want to see how Jericho Sims can make an impact out there on the court, because it'll give me a little bit more information when it comes time to hit the negotiating table with a Mitchell Robinson. Also, I want to see RJ, how RJ is going to perform, how if he's going to be the efficient RJ that we need to pull out.
I think that's the key. You hit the key. I think if the Knicks as a team are efficient tonight, like very efficient, they actually could win this game tonight. It's in the Garden. They could win it, and if they could, like RJ can be efficient, we need Alec Burks to have a big game. We need Fournier to have a big game. We need all the guys, all our shooters to come through with some big numbers, because we're missing Grimes, who would have been nice in this game, but we do have Deuce. Hopefully Deuce can give us some good minutes, some good defense on Kyrie, can chase him around, bother him, get Kyrie to make some mistakes, force these guys to commit some turnovers, and we don't turn over the ball. So that's the key for us to winning this game. It's the key every night, but tonight more so. The Nets are
shooters got to shoot.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Keys.
Deuce has to lock up Kyrie.
Well, we're so depleted.
that was gonna be my points, Keys. My point was gonna be they have to lock up Kyrie, and I think specifically they have to lock up the 3-point line. They can't let the Nets go rampant with threes, because we're already at a scoring disadvantage with those two guys. And I think, like you guys mentioned, efficiency overall and 3-point efficiency. And I think also guys shooters gotta shoot. Guys can't be afraid to let the ball go. I think that it has to be they have to play a great defensive game, but they have to let the ball go, I think, from long range. I think we need a lot of points today.
We're a better defensive team, even without Mitch. So if like the defenses were better, if we can match their offense, then we have a chance to pull the game out. And then, on any given night, someone can get hot.
It's a lot easier for them to match our defense without
Mitch than
it is us matching.
But they're missing. But look what they're missing.
Output.
They're missing James Johnson. So that's he's an interesting rotation piece for them. I mean, is it going to be enough? No.
That's where efficiency comes in at, because we can make it up by making shots. Take easy shots and pass the ball. Continue that passing the ball like how they've been doing. Getting assists, getting everybody involved is going to give everyone the confidence to take that open shot when they have it. Against a team like this, we need all hands in.
All hands
on a game like this.
Yeah, and it'd be awesome if Quickly went off for like.
Oh yeah. There's always that's always great when we can have one desperado. Like every game like this against a team like the Brooklyn Nets, you always need one guy to kind of say like, I'm gonna handle this today. Like I'm gonna put the team on my back and make it happen. No one can play average. No one can play within their role today. We need someone to step up.
Yeah. Everyone has to step up tonight, especially because look how depleted we're. Well, we already knew there was no Randall, no D Rose, no Nerlens, but no McBride. Oh no, McBride is day to day.
We can't use Randall in the depleted conversation.
There's no Mitch.
A lot of fans wanted Randall to sit, so we can't then turn around and say we're depleted.
Yeah, true. But we don't have Mitch. He's not listed here, but Mitch is not playing tonight, so that's a big
Mitch
loss.
was a big curveball.
Yeah, if Mitch had played, I'd feel a lot more confident that we could steal this game. It's making it harder. It's basically like we just said. Everyone needs to step it up tonight. It needs to be one of those good all-around team efforts, straight through, up and down. Evan Fournier, another one of those 30-point games would be awesome. We have no idea how they're
one thing hopefully that could be comforting as we look at the stats from the last few games, that they've only beaten the Knicks by an average of 3.3 points. So, and obviously I know there's probably been no Kyrie, but at least the Knicks can feel like
no KD in one of them too, right?
Oh, no KD in one of them, but Harden played in 3 of them. No, Harden played in all 3 of those games.
Yeah, biggest thing, man, is keeping Kyrie from going crazy. Like we know Kevin Durant gonna do what he does, but we got to keep Kyrie from dropping 50 tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see Quick on him to start, but now we're gonna see Alec Burks on him to start.
Yeah,
I think Alec Burks is a pretty good defender.
He is. We'll see. But he gets.
I don't know about Kyrie. I don't know about defending Kyrie, but we'll see. How Kyrie everyone has a hard time defending Kyrie.
Everybody's got a hard time.
He's gonna put Burks on skates.
Yeah. we got to.
Even worse if he gets matched up on Fournier. Oh man,
Fournier.
That's what I don't want. That's what I don't want. If we can keep
toll booth collector,
that might be a highlight right there.
Just drop your quarter and go on through.
Yeah, he does a lot of one of these swipes on the run by. When you kind of run by, he swipes at the ball as you run by. But
that Matador defense.
The Matador defense. But we will know if the Knicks are in it in 3 quarters. We'll know. We'll know what's up. By the end of the third, we'll
I just hope it's a close game. I hope the young guys perform well. It's one of those games. They need to feel this intensity. And this will be great for the development of the young guys. Quickly, RJ as well.
RJ will be great for our assessment of the young guys as well. More so than not more so, but also
look,
a loss, to their development.
A loss is not a terrible thing. Right now, we are right there to get the 10th pick. There's a chance we could fall, or it depends, fall a little lower, get the 9th pick. Yesterday, all 3 teams that we're competing with right now all won, so that was good for us. There's only 3 games left. Would I be terribly unhappy if we lost all 3 and improved our chances to get into the top 4? Not at all. I just want to see them play well. I want to see a well executed game. If they beat you, they beat you. But like you said, it's been close games, so who knows? I mean, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm actually really I'm excited to see this game. Hopefully, it won't be.
I'm excited.
They haven't been all that close. Remember, one of them we were spanking their boots, and then they ran it up.
That was the
one.
one.
I was actually in attendance to that game. Was that game 2 or game 3? I think it was the second one.
I can't remember. It could have been the second one. The 111-106. I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were up by.
Yeah, the big lead. My girl went to the restroom. Yeah, we were up by like 12. She comes back. We're down by 4. I'm like, I don't know how to explain it to you, babe.
That was a killer, that game.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That was one of the killers.
We'll see. These are one of those games, that even though it's at the end of the season, it's one of the games, like you said, for the development of the young guys, because you want to know, like, can we bring it and can we win? What have we been working towards all season long? Have we gotten to a point where we can face a really good team and we can all bring our best and we can be triumphant? And I think that kind of thing works on the young guy's psyche, lets them know that we can compete in this league. And I think these are one of those tune-up games.
Hey, man,
something like
when
that.
I used to play, it definitely mattered.
Oh,
If you competed well as a young player, like you could take away, like, and then like, okay, you know what? Oh, we were close. I think we can get them next time. But when you're blown out, you learn nothing. You're blown out and you played 9 minutes. If you're a young guy, it's like, what the hell? I don't know what to make of this game. So
yeah, moral victories only really count when it comes to developing young guys. Other than that, it has no place in the game.
Word. All right.
That's why we're trotting Burks out for 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, we definitely
not moral victories at this point.
Oh my goodness,
Burks.
We're gonna see. He may surprise us tonight.
Hey, Knicks 120, Nets 112.
Let's go. Let's put it into the universe.
Let's go. Put it into
the Knicks-Verse.
Put it out there into the Knicks-Verse. Into the
Fingers
Knicks-Verse. Let's go.
crossed.
Fingers crossed. 120 to 112. Let's go. RJ goes for 50.
Yeah,
Woo!
and well, in reality, we're going to lose, and then George is going to do his recap with a smile on his face, saying we got better draft position.
That's right.
He's playing on both sides of the fence right now.
I'm playing both sides. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. Totally a win-win. Yeah, man. But yeah, without Mitch tonight, it is going to be rough.
That's the scary part, because we need the rim defender. We need someone that's going to be there, when these guys try and come intimidate. And
Fournier, Burks are going to escort the person they're guarding to the rim, and we need Mitch there to get 3-4 blocks.
Yeah, we'll see who steps up. This will give a big man an opportunity to step up and kind of prove his worth, and someone other than Mitchell Robinson.
Well, it's Jericho and Obi.
Yes,
and Taj.
And Taj. Maybe Taj. Maybe Taj's development will take another step up.
I mean, he's developing. He's knocking down the corner three. That's development.
That'll make
development.
That'll make development.
Oh my goodness.
He's developing a jump shot.
Oh man! I can only watch it in Spanish on my phone.
In Espanol.
All right, guys. The game has started. Nets are already up 3-0. We're going to sign off soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't subscribed yet.
Make that 5-0.
Make that 5-0 and subscribe to Sports Vibes TV and check out my good friend Joe Ice, the writer's music that just debuted today about the Knicks. Incredible song. It's called Into the Knicks-Verse. The link, you can find it on the channel, on the Knicks-Verse channel, and it's going to be all around, hopefully. And you can even download it on Apple, right? Apple Music,
every
Spotify,
platform. Every platform.
Every platform.
iTunes, Spotify. We got the video on YouTube now. Yeah, and feel free to check out other Ice the Writer material on YouTube. And if you want to find me on Instagram, I put the name up there is @Joe_Dargan, because I am also a sports journalist. So that's my alter ego. But if you search up Ice the Writer, I'm gonna pop up as well, and you'll see my pretty face next to a mic similar to this one.
Yes.
And I look forward to interacting with you guys a lot more, to appearing on the show a lot more, and who knows, we may indulge in some all NBA commentary soon.
Yes, that is the plan. Eventually, we will not transition. I will have an additional channel that will focus on other sports, primarily NBA. But I'd like to talk about some baseball sometimes. Talk about whatever's at the moment topical, because you know me, I always have a lot to say.
Definitely.
And Quis, thank you so much for joining us, brother. You want to shout anybody out before we sign off?
Salute to the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys supporting the pregame show. Want to shout out Nick of Time Show. Thank you for tuning in and dropping some comments as well. We appreciate your support. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm sure you're gonna have a phenomenal post-game show. So make sure you guys, if you're looking for somewhere to catch a recap of tonight's game, make sure you head over to Nick of Time.
Live.
Yep.
JLS goes live. So yeah, check it out right after the game. It usually jumps on. Yeah, thank you, man, for joining us here today. We survey 100 people. Lexa Destroyer, Jeremiah Nunez, NASA from NYC. Great to see you, man. Let's see if I've missed anybody else. If I have, D Nice, Teron Mosley. It's awesome, man. It's great turnout. It's been a good chat. Been awesome chat. And again, check out the video, and we will see you around.